Hello, comrades, and welcome to another season of Locomotive Royale. I'm your host, Ellis, otherwise known as the Admiral. With me, I have my technical advisor, Tyler, and 5 lovely contestants who are going to be duking it out for a place in the finale, which will be 5 episodes from now. This is a game where we pit 5 locomotives and their contestants, or 5 contestants and their locomotives, against one another in a round table fight to the death. I will be introducing them one at a time, but if you are unfamiliar with this, I invite you to check out the rules documentation and, of course, our shop on theironhorseman.com, where you can buy the trading cards that we use to play this game. All of these stat sheets are available at most of the stat sheets are available at our partner's website, steamlocomotive.com. Those numbers are translated to the back of our unique Steam Locomotive trading cards that are used to play this game. I don't believe any of the contestants here are playing off of a physical card, but there are instances where that happens, and we have done this in person with the physical cards before. It's very fun, very exciting.
Famously has gone extremely well with absolutely no hiccups whatsoever.
All the ones that I've done have gone very well.
Rematch.
That can be arranged. But without further ado, let me show you our contestants. First up, Brian, what is this little doot that you've brought here?
I dubbed this Kaida. Hello, I am the Starlight Alchemist, also known as Brian. Recently got a role as Sonic the Hedgehog in a dubbing thing when I was trying for a minor character. I don't know how that happened, but anyways. Also, I should point out background. That's what I meant, not like young. Anyway, this is a Feldbahn design 010, not 262, 010, that was built for the Imperial Japanese Army by, well, actually, I shouldn't say that, but it was built for the Imperial Japanese Army.
No, you can say it. Go ahead.
No,
Spill the military secrets.
It is essentially 2 foot. It's not really 2 foot, but it sort of is, and it's cute. And it's also got the biggest picture here, I think.
It's a very high resolution. It's a very nice picture. It is a weird locomotive. We can talk about how it's an 010 and not a 262 later. I know it looks like a 262. But yeah,
Style points.
Trust me, it's not a conspiracy.
We're not gaslighting you, the audience. No.
I hope Kaida does well, especially considering the fact that Kaiserin helped me sort things out with it. Because Kaiserin actually made a complete stat sheet for it.
In the second position, that actually is the wrong locomotive. The second position is Marine, right?
Yes.
Marine, what is this locomotive that you've brought, number 8801?
This is, the Imperial Government Railway 8,800 class. Is a 460, and, that's kind of all I got on it.
Okay, it's a fairly run-of-the-mill design. I mean, a 460 is a fairly run-of-the-mill wheel arrangement. Probably the best all-rounder of a sort of small-medium locomotive type. So I'm interested to see how this thing fares. This is probably the locomotive that I know the least about, or maybe have seen the fewest pictures about.
I want to see a versus of this in the CN G16, because the G16 is tiny.
I think it would still beat the hell out of this thing up, but we'll find out as the game goes on what this thing really packs in terms of stats. It looks reasonably modern anyway, but I don't think anyone here is more modern than the locomotive in the third position. East, you brought C62 too. I'm not surprised.
Yes, I have brought C62 too, my very big baby. I have seen this engine in real life, of course. And yeah, I'm ready to rumble in season something of Royales.
9.
Also, hasn't this engine been in like 2 Royales before?
This thing has been in a lot. I mean, between C62-2 and C62-17, which is the narrow gauge speed record holder for steam locomotives, they have they've showed up a lot. They're very good locomotives. They have a lot of style points, a lot of features, and
it won last season's.
Yeah, and East is the man to beat, as usual. Anyway, Bender, I believe you're in the 4th position. Is that right?
Correct.
And you brought D61 number 3.
Now, everybody knows about the D51. What a lot of people don't know about are these. Japan had classes of Berks, not because they were powerful, but because they were lighter on the rails than, the D50, D51, D52, for example. They ran out of D50s to convert into D60s. So they converted a few of D51s into these, which are just lighter D51s in basically every aspect.
The D50s and D51s were Mikados, right?
Yes. And this is a 284.
So this has some weight, more weight placed on the trailing truck in order to help out its minimum weight of rail.
Exactly.
Interesting. Yeah, these are fascinating examples. I'm interested to see how it stacks up against the C62. Especially, they look like they have some degree of parity, and being that it was a rebuild, I would imagine that it has a reasonable amount of style points too. Anyway, in the 5th position, it's down here in the 5th position. That's Mew, isn't it?
Yep.
You brought E10 number 2.
I did. A chunky 210 for tank engine. Got some definite cons, but I think a bunch of pros too, so we'll see how it does.
This is probably the first Japanese engine that I ever sort of recognized, in a manner of speaking. It's the first one that I looked at and went like, oh shoot, like this is going to stick in my memory because it's a very unusual locomotive design. It's a lot of wheels for a tank engine. So hopefully it'll be able to stand up to its compatriots here. I'm going to hide my bookmarks bar to give myself a little bit more room here. And also probably jump out to 90% view on this and fold that away. So that gives me a little bit more room to maneuver here. Tyler, you don't actually have a lot to do here because the sheet handles pretty much everything. But of course, you know quite a lot about these Japanese locomotives. I didn't say it at the top of the show, but if you haven't picked up on it yet, the theme for this Royale is Japan. All of these locomotives were built for Japan. So, without further ado, this is a game with 4 rounds. Each person gets to call a style point in each round, and then we go on to a 5th round that is style points. Each person gets to call a stat in each round. Brian made the best guess at getting in, so he's up first. What'll it be, Brian?
Oh boy. Good question.
I've got the timers out. If I'm making a new threat. If somebody runs out of town, I am going to pick the stat call, and it's going to be bad for them.
Oops, ran out of talent.
I'll just sit here and I'll figure out what the worst possible stat call for the locomotive is, and that's what I'll be doing with my 60 seconds.
We could just do a random number generator.
Boring claim.
I kind of want to do something because from what I remember, Japanese locomotives are particularly bad with this. And I want to see whether or not I can pull off a random 5 from this. So, evaporative heating surface divided by cylinder volume.
Ooh, that's an interesting call.
That's not the bad call I was expecting.
Evaporative heating surface divided by cylinder volume is a very interesting call, especially because I was looking at compounds for my pick when we started this, and it was still not very impressive. So, Brian, what is your evaporative heating surface divided by cylinder volume on this thing?
Surprisingly good for an engine with only 2 cylinders. Let me just make sure I got that number right. Yes, I did. 251.42.
151.42. Yeah, that's about the same as the compound I was looking at. That is pretty good.
Yeah, I saw that page earlier because I was looking up that number because that's the one I used.
All right, Marine, What about you? What's your evaporative feeding surface divided by cylinder volume?
Mine is 161.52.
Brian wasn't kidding when he said they were bad. If you could put that in the sheet for me, that'd be great.
The one I actually remembered was the D51 from the Cape Gauge Royale.
161. Okay. East.
182.2.
182.2. Yes, very not impressive for the man to beat. Bender.
152.76.
That's really bad. Okay.
That's what I remembered.
And finally, you.
You think that's bad?
Oh god.
141.65.
141.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's pretty darn bad. We have almost gone in perfect order here. Brian does get a 5 point on that stat call. That's very good. 4 points go to East, so remaining the man to beat in a field of really bad numbers. 3 points to Marine, 2 points to Bender, and 1 point to Mew. Okay, so that's our first stat call. That's how that works. Marine, what is your first stat call?
Well, I'm going to call minimum weight of rail.
Minimum weight of rail in this 10-wheeler. That's very interesting. Minimum weight of rail going once, going twice. Last time I had a lot to say, so there was plenty of room for people to veto. Everyone has one veto. I just want to remind everybody of that. You get to kick one stat out. It stays kicked out unless the judges, that being Tyler and I, decide that we should bring it back in at the end. Minimum weight of rail for the 2-foot gauge, but not 2-foot gauge engine. Let's hear it.
45.
11.
You're not the not 2-foot gauge engine, Marine. We're going from the top.
Sorry.
11 pounds, did
Sorry.
you say?
Yes. 11.
All right.
Dirt.
We found another
It's a
locomotive
water
that
engine.
60
is
centimeter gauge, so not quite 2 foot.
it is
Yes.
safe to be run over by. Also, wait, did you say 60 centimeter?
Yes, 60 centimeter
Yeah,
gauge.
that's 2 foot. That's 2 foot. It's 2 foot. It's close. It's close enough.
This literally is the
That's-
beat's best friend.
That's 2 foot.
Haida, welcome
Also,
to the small family.
isn't David 60 centimeters also?
Oh yeah, I think it
Because
is.
it's 2 foot. It's 2 foot. It's all the same. Okay, Marine, now I want to hear your number.
45.
Not very impressive, but actually quite good. East,
59.
59. Okay, getting into real numbers. Bender,
50.
50. Okay, so the trailing truck does help. And Mew,
52.
52. All right, not going to continue the streak of ones. I was really worried that was going to happen. But Brian continues his streak of fives. 5 points for him. 4 points for Marine on his own stat. Not bad. 3 points for Bender, 2 from you, and 1 for East. The heaviest locomotive here, having 59 pounds per yard, is kind of crazy until you realize it's all narrow gauge. It's not all 2-foot gauge. It's mostly Cape gauge, but it's all narrow gauge.
It's Cape gauge with about the same loading gauge as, like, European or American.
Yeah, well, clearly they're not using it.
No, they are.
Actually, no. This is using it quite effectively.
No,
actually.
it's definitely not. Like I feel like if no, because
These are big.
it would look much more ridiculous. They're big. I cannot fathom that they are that big. You put this thing up against a big American engine, it's still going to look small.
I mean, next to like a
Next to something
fair,
that uses all of the U.S. loading gauge, these things are not very big.
Counterpoint Brunel.
So true.
Well, Brunel, yeah. All right,
Brunel's gonna Brunel.
East. What is your stat call?
So true.
Driver diameter.
Driver diameter.
You
Yeah,
got it.
probably a
I
good
could
stuff.
see that coming from a mile
Going
away.
once, going twice. Driver diameter. If you're trying to veto, you make sure I hear it. You say it loud and clear. You say it over and over again because you know how Discord sometimes breaks things up. What is your driver diameter, Brian?
Honestly, I'll take the hit from this. It's 23.6.
Okay, it's still bigger than your minimum weight of rail, which is something I was concerned about.
Very easy to hug.
Marine?
It is 63.
63. Okay, reasonable numbers. American numbers, even. East? Hello? East?
68.9. I had accidentally typed it into Bender's spot.
68.9. Okay, gotcha.
Greatness.
Bender.
55.1.
55.1. Okay. And finally, Mew.
Zam, 49.2.
49.2. You're not getting a 1 out of that. That's okay. East gets the 5 on his own stat. 4 points goes to Marine. Very consistent Marine over here. 3 points goes to Bender. 2 points to Mew, and 1 point to Brian. Now, Brian is certainly the outlier here. He's going to be back and forth between 5s and 1s. We'll see how that works out for him. Bender.
Water capacity.
Tender water capacity. Going once. Going twice.
Veto.
All right, veto the tender water capacity. Please put
Tender
that in
fuel
next to
capacity.
your name over there. And Bender, you got to pick something else.
Tender fuel capacity.
Tender fuel capacity. Going once. Going
Veto.
twice. I had a feeling another veto was on the horizon. I don't know why everyone's gunning for Bender right now.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Please put that veto
Attractive
in.
effort.
Tractive effort. Going once. Going twice. No one's going to kick this one out. Tractive effort. This is an interesting one.
I'm fine with this.
How much does that tea kettle make in terms of tractive effort, Brian?
A surprisingly large amount for what it is. 9,550 pounds.
Well, when you think about it as an 010-0, it makes a little bit more sense. Maureen.
19,943.
Okay.
That's a full-sized engine.
That is
compared to
a
basic
full-size engine. Now, importantly, that is a discount. It was 20,000 even, but they made it a little bit lower, so you want to buy it. All right. East.
30,580.
Okay. Yeah, that's a Hudson. That's a small Hudson, but it's a Hudson. Bender.
40,079.
Okay. And Mew?
47,904.
You know, it's funny how you can see the slow increase in numbers of driving wheels. Ignoring Brian, of course. Anyway, that is 5 points to Mew off of Bender's stat, but Bender gets 4 points, so it's not all bad. 3 points to East, 2 points to Marine, and 1 point to Brian. It just goes right up the scale like that. Mew, you got a 5 point off the last stat call. What is your first stat call?
I'm going to call... Let me see here. I think I will do... where the heck is it? Tender loaded weight.
Tender loaded weight. Clever call. Going once. Going twice. Crazy to me that Bender gets 2 vetoed and no one takes out tender loaded weight. Alright, that is right there. I know Brian wasn't going to, aside from the fact that he already spent his veto. What is it,
I
Brian?
don't know why you think that. I'm just gonna say this now. Mew, 10
Hello?
driver
Hello?
gang.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Can you
Hello.
guys hear me?
Hello.
Hello?
I think my Wi-Fi cut out here for a
love you.
second.
Did we miss a veto from you?
What was the stat?
Tender loaded
Tender
weight.
loaded weight.
Who called it? Mew?
Yeah.
I called it.
Veto.
Oh, that's
Damn.
bull.
Oh, sorry. No, darn. This is a children's show. No, it's for all people. Like
That's a
farmers.
lot of
Yes.
bull.
I think he waited too long to say it. But
Alrighty. I then choose wheelbase ratio.
So true.
wheelbase ratio. Going once. Going twice.
Veto. Might as well.
Okay, and we have 4 vetoes gone now. Everyone except
Sorry,
for
Mew.
you.
my god.
Better than Easter Marine, and you still vetoed that.
Okay, Mew, what is your third pick?
High pressure cylinders.
Nice.
Aw.
Now this is an interesting pick.
It is because there are 3 of us here who have roughly the same dimensions. I think.
I think the exact same.
High pressure
dimension.
cylinders going once, going twice.
Roughly.
Now, I do want to say that one of the only reasons I let that janky damn veto stand is the fact that it is a really poorly timed veto. You don't want to be spending all these right at the top, but alas, it's already been spent. Bender, you vetoed wheelbase ratio, isn't that right?
Yes.
All right,
Yes.
just making sure that's marked off for you. Everyone's got their numbers down here just about. We'll go with Brian first.
Got a pair of 1063 by 1181s.
Okay.
They are small, like my engine.
There's about 2,100 cubic inches in those. I think, if my math is right. I think this gives you cubic inches. Anyway. Marine?
I got what is it? No, okay, 12,906.37.
Yeah. Which is 18.5 by 24-ish cylinders. East.
I have 20.47 by 25.98 by 2, giving me 17,091.28.
17,091. Now, do my eyes deceive me? These last two locomotives seem to have the exact same cylinders. That wasn't a case of somebody typing in the wrong spot, was it?
No.
No.
They use the same
Japan has standards.
You're damn right they do. I really should like Japan more than I do.
There needs to be a
Yes, you
there
should.
needs to be a three-way handshake between JNR, the PRR, and
the Great Western.
Yeah.
Well, you see,
with standards.
I don't know about the Great Western, but PRR executives and JNR executives both went to my alma mater. They have dorms named for one another that are literally adjoined. So maybe that has something to do with it.
And
I will
also Mr. Scott.
I will show the I will show the points right there. 5 and 5 for the two with the largest cylinders. That's 21.65 by 25.98. Each a pair of them, about 19,000 cubic inches. East gets 3 points. Marine gets 2. Brian gets 1. That was a long way to go to get that stat out the window. Some people are going to be crying foul when East wins that I let him have that veto. I don't think it's going to make a difference. You all can dunk on him later.
So true.
Let's show those first round points. Bender is in the lead with 17. East is in second place with 16. There's a tie for third, 15 points between Mew and Marine. And then Brian trails with 13. Brian's hoping to get more of those weight stats on the board, I would imagine.
Pretty tight race.
It's a pretty tight
Yeah,
race,
yeah.
but it's only the first round. Because Tyler has been in his happy place for a little while, I'll wake him up and ask him what his opinion on the competition is at this current time.
Honestly, I was expecting the army tank to do a little bit more, but seeing as the board, this is the thing that surprised me the most. 4 of the 5 vetoes are gone already. We didn't do a Royale for what? A little over 6 months?
Yeah, we had the
and
season of
everybody
Loco
became
Dome.
trigger happy?
Yes.
Yeah. Everybody became trigger happy. What's this? Come on, gang.
It's
No,
ex-
I know what I'm doing.
it's funny to me to think, and Tyler, maybe you picked up on this when I did, but when that first veto came down, it was like, oh god, here we go. Because,
Yeah.
you know, people see it and they remember they have them, and then it turns into a whole thing. But
This is reverse psychology.
it's reverse psychology. Everyone just spends their vetoes, except for Mew. Mew's the only one hanging on, and he's not in a bad position. I think. You know, what do you think about the E10 in this lineup?
It's got its strengths, it's got its weaknesses. It is sitting pretty comfortably on the far end of the weight spectrum
Yes.
compared to our fun little army tank.
Yeah.
So if
Which is
we
weird
plays our
because-
cards right, and if the rest of the field plays the right way, there could be some fun things happening.
hmm
But then the same thing can be said of Brian.
Yeah.
So
A tale
we
of
just
two
need to wait and
tanks.
see.
Yeah. A
Yeah.
tale of two tanks. There we go.
Literally,
Uh,
this is the two tanks on the
Unironically,
island.
of my competitors, the E10 is my favorite.
The E10 is a good locomotive. Now that does put East and Bender in the middle, and Marine by extension, which historically has been a reasonably good place to be. But the E10 is also on the large end of a field that trends in its direction, and we've also seen how beneficial that can be. So, I won't hold us up any longer with chit-chat. It's round 2. Brian, what's your first stat call?
Alstomelia's weight computation.
Okay, that's a good call at this point in time. If you wanted to call this thing a 262, you would have had to fix that. Going once. Going twice. I'm kidding, that's not how that works. But Alstomelia's weight computation, it's down on the bottom right. It's cell V59. It's got a little computation just like the cylinders. Brian,
You're
of
going to
course,
see something funny in a second.
you don't have to do the math, I would imagine. Unless Steve and Wes have decided that you should.
Even on the original page, there is no need to not do the math.
Bender,
kidding
what?
Yeah.
What?
How?
We'll get to the two of you. Brian, what is your number really quick?
1.
Yeah, fat 1. All your weight's on the drivers. Marine?
Well, definitely not 1. It is 0.72.
0.72 is pretty respectable for a 10-wheeler, I have to say. It's a decent number. East, you haven't put your numbers in.
Yeah, I'm finagling my way around the page there.
He's just embarrassed because he knows he's
You
gonna
don't
be
you don't
last.
have this
Oh, wait,
memorized?
we don't have... I was calculating it. Hold up, I need to get the raw numbers now.
But we have the thing here.
Bruh.
You see, I'm now using the pages you provide on your website here for the cards, and it's excellent. Especially
There you go,
since
0.54.
oh, there you go.
Oof.
Ouch. Yes, the downloadable stat sheet, which is available in the Document Center on our website, does do all of these calculations for you. So if you have a locomotive that isn't in a trading card and isn't on Steam Locomotive, you can still make a page, and it'll make all of the numbers that it can for you. I guess the exception being tractive effort, but that's not always calculated the same, and I wasn't going to figure out the formula for that. I'm going to be
I
straight
have
with
run
everybody
into
here.
my issues with it.
It's
Yeah.
too much of a pain. Just use the calculator on steamlocomotive.com. So, do my eyes deceive me again?
No, except they're different
Listen.
numbers this time. So
Listen, I used separate calculators to get more decimal places. Are we supposed to stick to 2 decimal places?
Oh, don't worry. The points will go by the more decimal placed numbers. But do you guys both want to tell me what you have?
yeah, let me just like extend it out here.
No,
Oh.
don't have with the spreadsheet.
Well,
On
we have
3,
here is,
Bender?
dude, where's my car?
Yeah,
We have 0.6.
6, 9.
0.69. And we'll see which
Nice.
0.69 is higher, because it goes by
Yes.
highest. I'm not overly
Ah.
surprised that the E10 wins here, but 5 points go to Brian, 4 points go to Marine, 3 points to Mew in the E10, 2 points to Better in the D61, and then 1 point to the C62, which shouldn't really surprise anyone given the fact that it's a Hudson. Marine,
Gas even.
yeah.
I'll call factor of adhesion.
Factor of adhesion. Going once. Going twice. And the only person that could kick this out is Mew, and I have no idea if his is good or not. That's going to go down on the side here as well. Sorry if it surprised
I
you.
forgot about that.
Yeah, it's...
I'm embracing the chaos in this one. I'm saving my veto for a specific other one.
I
Welcome
wonder-
to Japan. Factor adhesion is kind of
a suggestion.
Factor of adhesion is as bad as evaporative heating surface divided by cylinder volume in
They-
most cases.
They do things differently there. Brian, what is yours?
Not great, not terrible. 3.46.
Oh, wow.
3.46?
Marine?
Mine, I am pretty sure is actually kind of decent. 4.6.
4.06, you mean? Which, yes,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
very good.
That is,
It
yeah.
is the second best engine for factor of adhesion in Japan, if I'm not mistaken.
Really? It's a good
Yeah,
pick.
there is
Wow.
one higher.
Is it
or
yours,
it's
East?
closer to 4. No.
Okay,
East,
well,
when
what's
did they
yours?
import? When did they import a Per Marquette Burke?
So true.
4.38.
Try that again.
4.38.
That's not what you
Try
wrote.
that again.
3.48.
3.48. Yeah, 3.48.
There
Is that not what I said?
You said
You said
4.48.
four.
You said 4.
4.38. He's too used to the
This
Pierre
is when we
Marquette
learned
burn.
useless dyslexic.
All right. Bender?
This is one of the worst in the Tran. 3.01.
Wow.
It's comically bad.
That's
Ooh,
I mean,
Size
that is the
large.
result of an effort to take weight off of the driving wheels, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm
You?
not last. 3.24.
3.24. Also not good, but still better. 5 point goes to Marine, 4 point goes to East, 3 points to Brian, and then 2 to Mew, and 1 to Better. Good stat call. East, what about you?
Top speed is not a stat call.
Boiler pressure.
Boiler pressure. Going once.
Ooh, this
Okay.
might be funny.
Going twice.
Agreed.
All right. Boiler pressure. Dropping that in the list. Brian, I expect your number to be kind of sad.
It's actually less sad and more goofy. 198.7.
Oh, wow. That's actually quite
Interesting.
respectable. It's almost 200 pounds.
Mhm.
That raises questions. Marine, I'm also curious about yours. Very much so.
Well, mine's also pretty interesting. 179.80.
That raises further questions. East?
227.7.
Yeah, okay. There's your high end for most of... A lot of metric stuff lands at 227.7. Bender?
213.35.
I was hoping for standards to come through here. Mew?
Also 227.7.
Okay, they did in some respects. So that's 5 points for you and East, 3 points for Bender, 2 points for Brian, and 1 for Marine, which is kind of a bummer, but Marine did just get a 4 and a 5, so what can you do? Bender, what is your
Year built.
second stat call? Year built. Yeah, this is something that maybe could be informed by boiler pressure, or you could understand it a little bit better. They're tied to one another. Going once, going twice. Boiler or you're built. You're built. Year as it is.
Boil.
Um,
I mean,
Boiled
Whoa.
hams.
I saw that. I saw.
Shake hands with danger.
What happened down there?
Ew.
All right. Brian.
Once again, I'm getting a sense of deja vu. This seems like when I brought Aeolus to the What in the World Royale all over again. Because on its own, it's a decent number, but against this, it's going to be bad. 1925.
1925 is
That's pretty good.
yeah.
That's all right.
That tracks. This is what I'm super curious about though, tied to the last stat call. Marine.
I am old. 1912.
Yeah.
Thank goodness I'm not
The
last.
crazy thing is that's not even that old. You know,
No.
you're still in this
Yeah.
century, or well, in that century anyway.
Yeah,
Uh,
1900s.
East
1949.
1949. Yeah, that's one of the most modern engines in the general scope of things. Honestly, it's past the height of steam in most places. Bender
1960.
1960. That's
Yeah.
what I was expecting.
Yep.
And finally, Mew
1947.
1947, a little bit shy of East, but 5 points goes to Bender on his own stat. Good call. 4 points to
Mew.
East, 3 points to Mew, 2 points to the little Duke tin can here, and 1 point to poor old 8801.
Mew, I have a question. Are you technically JGR because 1947?
Yeah, actually.
You are? Okay, that's what I figured.
Okay.
Oh, I thought I changed it. Whoops. Let me go back and change it to G.
Also, I realized only Brian has linked the stat page.
There were at least 2 stat pages linked. I thought there
I
were.
had,
anyway.
and then
Well,
I
I
had-
linked mine as well, but I was excluding myself in that.
Okay.
I don't know how to link.
I had, but at the time I noticed nobody else had, so I thought we were doing competitive advantage or something.
It doesn't really matter. It doesn't change much. It's nice for because I'm going to copy it into the results document. It's nice for the audience to be able to look at the full stat pages. So if you want to link them by the end, that would be helpful. Marine, what you do is if you click on the cell and then do Control K, it'll bring up the option to link. But don't worry about that right now. Mew, what is your second stat call? Well, really like your
Right.
fifth stat call, but we won't go there.
Right. Let me have a look through my options here. Let's do a bit of chaos here. Total engine and tender weight.
Total engine and tender weight. I feel like you have a disadvantage here. Going once, going twice.
Yeah, interesting.
Total engine and tender weight. Sometimes you don't play for yourself. Total locomotive weight as it's listed here. Brian.
Penn driver gang is working together. Woo! 33,069.
Nice.
I thought that was 330,000. I was like, what the hell?
This thing actually
Made out
has...
of depleted uranium.
Yeah, well, I was going to say,
Yeah.
it's actually measured by stacking 10 of them on top of one another. These
You
things were...
mentioned uranium. We'll get to that.
No, Brian said he wouldn't tell you who they're made by. They're made by Volvo. Anyway,
No, the
Marine.
uranium has to do with it.
Marine?
Sounds like a star
I am
We will get to it when that stat gets called.
175,589.
198 it looks like, but same thing. I don't think it's going to be that close.
Yeah.
Pretty light engine. Makes sense. East. East? Did we lose East again?
East Rail.
Okay, 317,487.
Okay. Bender.
279, 590.
Okay. And Mew.
225,092.
I am surprised. Consider me surprised.
I honestly should have considered that Marine's Loco was a much older one and therefore much lighter.
Still, getting a 3 on your own stat is
Good.
not the worst thing that can happen. 5 points goes to Brian, 4 points goes to Marine, 3 points goes to Mew, 2 points to Bender, and 1 point to East. I thought this was a targeted attack, if I'm honest. I was assuming it was intentional. Now, let's look at how things are, because what you did with it, nevertheless, was take down the 2 players that were doing better than you at the end of last round. But now, at the end of this round, at the end of round 2, the scoreboard looks like this. 17 points to Brian. Coming back from
Oh
worst
my
to first.
God.
16 points to Mew, 15 each to the C62, and 801, and 13 points to Bender. This all comes out to a damn near 5-way tie, with 31 points for the E10 and C62, and 30 points for the D61, 8801, and the little thing, the K2.
Mew, you wanted chaos. You're getting chaos.
I would like to point out that Kaizen is playing along and streaming and recording, and she is so real for that.
That's
Based.
awesome. That's legendary.
It's great.
Anyway, this is incredible. I mean, I'm not sure we've ever had this much parity at the end of 2 rounds. Sometimes at the end of 1, but this is kind of insane. So much for booting anybody out before style points. Someone's got to have a serious collapse to get 10 points back in this.
You never know.
That's gonna be me.
You never
I
know.
mean, theoretically, it could just take one round of like.
A 1 round of straight 1s. But even
Yeah.
then, you'd have to have the other person get straight 5s in order to really set you back far enough.
Yeah.
Or at least a lot of very high numbers. So, a coordinated effort to knock somebody out might be possible, but it would have to be somebody on the extremities. And I don't know what you're thinking, Tyler, but that's not where the target's going to go, or at least not where it should go.
Mm-hmm.
This is me opening the door to you to jump in at the end of round 2.
It'll be interesting. So far, like, I will say, of the calls recently, the one that surprised me most was Year. Not because of who called it, but because of Brian's response. Everything else tracked. Everything else. But really, this thing is this new?
I really would have thought it was a World War One locomotive or earlier.
Yeah,
That's-
either that or Russo-Japanese.
Yeah, although
Most of the stuff comes out Russo-Japanese or World War One.
although
because
the fact of the matter is the fact that Brian had that almost 200 psi of boiler pressure was like a red flag of like this engine is not
Mhm.
that old.
Yeah,
That's what I think anyway.
lovely metricing.
Yeah. So anyway, this whole round has been regressing to the mean, you might say, as everyone just about has 30 points, and Brian, you're up again.
Overall wheelbase.
Overall wheelbase probably a smart call for you. Going once, going twice. The only person with a veto is the other member of the 10 driver gang. Brian, what is your overall wheelbase?
Now this is a bit confusing because the stats on Kaiserin's complete sheet and on the Loco base and like driver wheelbase and overall, like not counting the weird like rigid wheelbase stuff, still conflict, but by like 1/100th of an inch.
That's rounding error.
Of
That's-
a foot or whatever.
it's-
So I'm
that's
going to
rounding.
assume that the stat is supposed to be 9.815, and it just keeps bouncing back and forth between 9.81 and 9.82.
It could be a rounding error.
That's-
It could be a rounding or truncation error. It could also be a rounding error as a result of conversion from metric. So 9.812, or sorry, 9.815, or functionally 9.82. I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference in this competition. Marine,
I got 48.61.
48.61. That seems reasonable. East,
You.
62.34.
okay. Bender,
64.89.
slightly longer. And Mew.
38.62.
The tank engine sneaks in under the 10-wheeler. That's 5 points to Brian, 4 points to the other member of the 10-driver tank engine gang, and 3 points, 2 points, 1 point in that order going down the list. I don't remember what I was going to say after that. Oh! I don't know about everyone else, but when it comes to these numbers, I've always tried to rationalize them by picturing a 40-foot boxcar next to these, next to things. Not that that's really relevant here, it's just something I wanted to bring up. Marine, what's your stat call?
Well, I have two options. I either cause headache, or I just keep with the status quo.
Well, the only people you need to really worry about causing headache for are myself and Tyler. You can cause headache for everyone else in this game, and you're totally fair game to do it. Like, go ahead.
Let's see.
Real quick, when you mentioned boxcars, not to give anything away, but I'm pretty sure you could fit my entire class within an 89-foot boxcar.
I feel like you could fit everything here within an 89-foot boxcar.
No, I mean like
your
every
entire
single
class.
member of my class together in
Oh.
an 89-foot boxcar.
I feel like you shouldn't have said that. Marine, what's your stat call?
I'm going to do Power L1.
Power L1. Ooh, that's an interesting call given the competition. Going once? Going twice? Alright, let's hear Power L1. The only thing I could imagine is this is a targeted attack against Brian specifically. Brian,
I am small.
which is
2958.
2958, 4-digit number. What have you got, Marine?
I got 11,240 So
Alright, you snuck into those 5 digits. That's nice to see. East.
27,432.
Okay, real numbers. Bender.
15,250.
That is dismal, considering.
I hope that's right.
Mew.
And before it's actually 51.
Yeah, well, I'm surprised at that, Bender. 16,597.
Okay, maybe I guess the thing to be surprised at is the C62, but you should never be surprised at the C62. 5 points. 4 points to Mew, 3 points to Bender, 2 points to Marine, and 1 point to Brian. Although there is another alternative I hadn't considered with that stat call, which is that East has started paying people off. East, East, what's your
Yeah, you
stat
paid for
call?
this?
Number in class.
Number in class. Once again, another targeted attack on Brian, it would seem. Going once. Going twice. The C62s can't be that impressive, right? Number in class.
Well, you see, the issue is I know every person's number built here, not because I looked at it beforehand. I just know the
No,
engines.
the point is, yeah, you have looked at it beforehand, but several months beforehand. I can't get over
Yeah.
this. Just registered to me. I can't get over the track joints in front of Brian's locomotive.
I need to scroll up. Here,
It goes from the tiniest stick rail to normal people size rail, and it uses an adapter section that's
I only just noticed
3
that.
feet long.
It goes
2
from
feet long.
Don't worry about
that
it.
goes from it's like the different gauges of rail and model railroading.
Yeah,
It goes from gauge 50 to gauge 100.
or code is what you're thinking of.
Code 50 to code 100.
Anyway,
Just need a bloody ramp.
how many of these are there, Brian?
Probably more than you thought. A grand total of 6.
That is more than I thought, but it's not a lot. Marine?
I have double that. 12.
Okay, I was sort of hoping this thing would have a reasonable showing. East?
We have some funny ties coming up, but I'll save that for those people who know what they have.
Yeah.
49.
49, okay. Bender?
Hello, Brian. 6.
That's disappointing.
That's small.
Finally, Mew.
Hee I'm in danger. 5.
Yeah.
That's very upsetting. This hurts me in my soul. 5 points.
me!
5 points to East, 4 points to Marine, 3 points to each Brian and Bender, and then 1 point to Mew. Yeah. So now when I said East was going to be the man to beat, that's happening now.
Remember when I said I was saving my veto for a specific call?
Did you
This
forgo?
taught me there are 2 calls.
The brain starts working.
All right, Bender.
Chuckles.
You're so right. Number built. No.
Yeah,
Yes,
Bender
Bender.
really wants to give East 5 points again.
To the dark side.
Yeah, Bender, expect 5 whole smackaroos in your mailbox by tomorrow.
That's more than I
Dark
have.
Bender.
$1.
That's more than damn. Hey, you know what you
Yeah,
could
you
spend
could
those
pay-
$5 on?
Trading cards.
True.
Yeah, it's $6 now, isn't it?
It is until I run out of packs with a helper.
Ah,
Then I reduce the
Not,
price.
not including tax.
Yeah, and shipping. But you should just come and pick it up.
I still have
When
yet
I-
to buy mine.
What I want to do here. Shoot.
We also ship to the UK now. I should say that.
Nice.
You got to pick something, Bender. You're almost out of time.
Okay. Combined
What
heating.
the fuck
surface,
you
do
mean,
that.
no?
Combined heating surface.
Uh-uh.
Going once. Going twice.
Ooh, okay.
Combined heating
I'm
surface.
Pretty
in
interesting.
danger.
Let's hear the little heating surface from the little lad.
Get ready for a number. Is it under 4 digits? That is the question.
Yes, it is.
Who am I kidding? Is it under 3 digits?
No, it isn't. Because, just like this engine, it's Mr. Worldwide 305.
Okay. I was gonna say no, East. It doesn't have 20 square feet of heating surface.
It would be great
All right.
though.
All right, let's
Live
hear
steam
from
version
let's
of
hear
this
from
one.
let's hear from the year of the Titanic.
Yes, it's technically a live steamer, but
I
It's
got
a live steamer, but it's also like super saturated.
1,497.
We have a live steamer, but the tubes are like a quarter of an inch to maximize. You can't actually burn anything in it because the flues would clog immediately, but that's unimportant. East,
here.
combined heating surface. I don't see you typing.
2636.
Okay. Bender,
2384.
2384. You're supposed to not be worse than East. Mew,
2401.
you're supposed to be worse than East. East gets another 5. Mew gets a
Ouch.
4. Bender gets a 3. Marine gets a 2, and then Brian gets a 1. You shouldn't really be surprised by either of those two calls. Mew, can you do me a favor and try to get a 5 this time?
Kaiser,
I don't-
what the hell?
This,
How do you have that
I
much
could
combined heating
if-
surface and yet I'm more powerful?
Maybe I could if I want to tie with East, which
Because
This
I would
is-
probably say
this
that
is
for
something-
round 4.
Oh, right, boiler
this
pressure,
round,
yeah.
round
That
3
makes
is
sense.
summing up to
Brian,
be the
you're also
East
like
gets 5
six-
points round.
Brian, you're also like 60 years newer than him. Or her, I guess. The engine would be a him, but Kaizen would be a her.
Anyway,
Anyway, I am going
Anyway,
to
yo.
go with a bit more chaos. Axle loading.
Axel.
Oh yes.
Oh god.
Oh,
here
this
we
is
go.
It's just going to
funny.
be the same as
This is
Movement Rail.
yes.
Going once. Going twice. Alright. Axle loading. Does anyone not have actual axle loading?
I don't, but thankfully Kaiserin provided in their sheet the already calculated minimum.
Okay. That's fine. I'm not going to split hairs here. If you don't have your regular axle loading, calculate min axle loading and go for it.
6614.
Okay.
614?
614.
Oh my
that's
God.
so little. That's so not a lot. Okay. Marine.
Small. Teeny weeny weeny.
I probably have, I don't know, like 5 times the size of that. 27,029.
A little less than 5 times. East.
A little more than 5 times, 35,450.
35,450. Bender.
Please,
30355.
3355. Oh, I heard a damn it. You?
Oh.
31063.
31. Mew's getting a 2 on his own stat. 5 points to Brian, so Whiplash. 4 points to Marine, that would have been decent. 3 points for Bender, 2 points from you, and 1 point for East. So, just the target attack there, which sometimes is smart and good. Especially considering I feel like this is going to be the round where East ascends. I'm just going to look at the grand total points. East is in the lead, 49 points. Second place is the E10 with 46 points. Third place is both the 8801 and the E103. And finally, in fifth place, the D61. Still a very tight field, though. There are 6 points of difference top to bottom. Bender, if he has a particularly bad next round, could end up being dropped, but I think this is getting into dangerous territory for everyone who is not East, because
How
How
style
do we
points,
target east?
style points are going to be style points. The dangerous thing is East is in the middle. It's going to be very difficult to target. Tyler, about the future, do you foresee how this ends?
I've foreseen how this ends based on how these engines got here.
Yeah,
How we got to now.
yeah. I think
'Cause it's,
the first 2 rounds was a bit of miraculousness. And East is going to go, and he's going to win this, and then he's going to win the finale, and then he's going to get another free pack of trading cards, which is not going to have the engine he wants. Uh,
Yeah. I will say another thing with we haven't done a Royale in a while. I know the mob is finally forming. They are going to storm the gates of East. You should have done that at the start of round 3.
yeah,
That's how this should work. Is you start your storming in 1, figure out Norman in 2, round 3 and round 4, burn the pitchforks, get the level playing field, set yourself up for style.
yeah. Although I will say, Mew is not doing too badly. I feel like certain calls could definitely break his way, but the
Yeah.
C62 is a dangerous machine when it comes to certain things.
I will say I am a little surprised about how well the C62 is doing right now.
Really?
Really?
I was thinking it was going to do slightly worse because it is now sitting in a realm that is not of its own.
Hasn't
It
this
is-
won
it is with
Royale
its
against
people.
standard gauge engines?
Yeah, well, that's the thing is we've had 2-foot win against standard gauge because 2-foot is all the way off in its own little kingdom, right? And so it gets to play its own game by its own rules when it's going up against standard gauge. Same thing with C62 too, is it sits off in its own little world, and then just
be
takes pot
fair,
shots.
It also
that's how-
beats standard gauge by having a bait and switch picture for style points.
I mean, yeah, you can do that, but it's a little harder than being off in your
Yeah,
own
no.
little
Next,
world and
next,
being able to-
next season of Royales, all locomotives will have to be on blocks. Only photos of locomotives on blocks are allowed.
Yes.
Hey, I have just a photo of 1225 PLs.
Yeah, I know you do.
I also have just a photo of C62.
Yeah.
And like
So
C57, C56, D51. What do you
Yeah.
want?
to explain the bit for the finale of Loco Dome, for the final episode, all my photos I submitted is with all of the engines I had on blocks.
Yeah. All right. Anyway,
Right.
Brian, it's your last chance to strike.
Tubes!
Good call.
Alright.
Going once. Going twice. And Mew isn't going to
Mew.
hurt you.
I don't think this is gonna do what you think it's gonna do.
Well, let's see. Tubes. Brian?
Can I wait, please?
No.
I want to see something.
No.
Because I suspect something's going. Okay, fine.
Oh.
You have
76?
76.
1.575.
Ah, it's very small. 1.575. I think Kiso has similar. Marine.
I got 90 at 2.008.
Yeah, metric be like. East.
I have a certain number of tubes by 2.008.
What is that number?
94.
Okay. 94,208. Bender.
I have 90 by 2008.
It's funny how many ties there are. And Mew.
74 by 2.008.
It's a shame because your boiler barrel looks so fat. But
It
that's
is the same as it should theoretically be the same diameter as mine.
yeah. It just looks chunky. It's what the E10 is wearing makes it look fat.
I was hoping the C62 would have
Yeah.
the Japanese equivalent of 2.25.
It does
It's all
2.008.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Standards.
that is 5 points for Brian. So it was a good call, nevertheless. East does
no,
get
it
4
wasn't,
points
because
off
East
of it.
got 4.
3 points each for these two locomotives, the 8801 and the D61-3. And then Mew gets last, which is like being unfairly maligned. But it does do a little bit to bring Mew back down into the mean. Marine, what is your final stat call?
Hmm. Well, feel like honestly at this point I feel like doing the funny,
Okay.
but
Do the funny.
I'm not. I'm like
The funny
tempted in
is-
not doing the funny.
The funny
what
is
the
always
funny
the
is?
right answer.
The funny is funny.
I'm
Does it
gonna
start with a
do.
B or does it start with an L?
You know what? I'm gonna do a side thing from the funny. I'm gonna do wait on drivers.
Wait on drivers. Going
Interesting.
once? Going twice? Okay. Wait on drivers. This is going to be an interesting one, I agree.
Mm,
Mew's debating that veto right now. I can tell you that.
I mean,
yeah, too late.
yeah, I was going to say, Mew was able to hear the whole thing. I'm not pausing the clock for him.
I play fair.
33069 from Brian.
Yes.
Marine.
81,064.
81,064. East.
106, 329.
106, 329. Bender.
120, 593.
And Mew.
155, 360.
And again,
Yikes.
we ascend. But actually, the points go straight down. 5 points to Brian, 4 points to Marine, 3 points to East, 2 points to Bender, and 1 point from you. Straight down the list. East, what's your last stat call?
Well, the question is Mew going to veto number built?
You.
Is that you calling
I
it?
do.
You
He
would?
does.
Is that you calling
Is
it?
that you calling it?
Number built.
Going once,
Veto.
and it's gone.
There we go. Now I can call what I really want to call without the veto board. Mwahahaha.
Which is?
Say it, man.
Loco base ID.
You
Local
got
base
it.
ID.
Interesting.
Going once, going twice. No vetoes on the board, so the only thing that could happen is East could change his mind, which I don't think is going to happen. Brian,
6388.
6388. Marine,
Half of that maybe. 3,808.
okay. East,
2602.
2602.
Oh.
Bender,
I have to again stress that this is the number we think it is, which is 3840.
okay. I'll allow it. Mew,
2493.
2493.
Ooh.
Takes a 5. And then 4
Nice.
points go to East, 3 points to Marine, 2 points to Bender, and 1 point to Brian. Now, this still does feel like anybody's game with how close things were, but we'll really have to take a look at the numbers when we get done here. Bender,
Flew tube length.
flew in tube length, going once, going twice. Flew tube length. I assume Brian's number is not very large.
It's not very large and it's very bad because it's Boeing. 7.87.
Oh, that's what you meant by Boeing. Marine,
It's a Dreamliner. A very tiny one.
I'm
Mine's
sorry,
so,
Brian. We have to.
Mine's so close to an even number. 14.99.
again, your locomotive's just discounted. East,
16.4 flat.
18.4. Bender,
18.01.
18.01. Is that after or before tax? Mew,
Yeah.
Also 16.40.
okay, that's annoying. 5 points for the D61. Bender made a good choice. 4 points apiece for the other two large mainline Japanese locomotives. These three here are really the mainstay of this arrangement. It's funny how the points haven't really shown that. 2 points for Marine, and then 1 point for Brian. Finally, we're at the last stat call, except for one. Mew, what's your stat call?
I have two potential ones. I think I'm not going to win either one. What the heck? Let's go with flues.
Flues.
Interesting.
Oh no!
Going once. Going
Ah,
twice.
Interesting.
There's got to be at least one saturated engine here, if not two.
I am one of those.
Okay. Brian's
The
got the
imposter
saturated
is among
engine.
them.
Don't put anything in the sheet there. So no flues
Oh, you're
for
kidding
Brian.
me.
Um,
Marine superheated?
Marine, what have you got?
I have 14 at 5.237 with a result of 43.
Okay. Yeah, don't worry about that result. That's a tactical number.
Okay.
East?
35 by 5.157.
157. Bender.
28 at 5.157.
Okay. And then Mew.
35 at 5.157.
Okay, so he ties East. That's 5 points apiece for them, 3 points for Bender, 2 points for Marine, and then 1 point for Brian, who, of course, has no flues at all. That ends round 4, which means that we get to look at our almost final stat scores, and Tyler and I are going to have to get those gears turning. I already know a couple things I'm definitely not picking. But this is what things look like right now. As was concerned, there are 2 people being dropped out of the bottom here, unless Tyler and I do something to change it. East has taken a firm lead with 69 points. Nice. Mew is in second, a relatively distant second with 62 points. And then 59 points, sitting right on the cutoff, is Marine. And below it, 58 points to both Bender in the D51 and Brian in the K2. Now, am I surprised that East is here in the Japanese Royale? Absolutely not. Especially considering the locomotive, but mostly considering East. Otherwise, though, Tyler, we got to do something to save these people. And I have no idea what to do.
Help this ratio, please.
The question is, what could you do to help Bender into style points that doesn't give me more points?
No.
No, I want to help
What's
Bender get into
ratio?
style. No, I want to help Bender get into style points.
Honestly, in truth, wheelbase ratio is probably the thing, and I wouldn't be opposed to that. It is vetoed, but it's there. It would help Brian. It would help Mew, and it would help
East.
Bender a little bit. East would probably be East would get 1 point out of that.
You know, you're thinking about this, but what about?
What about
It would
what?
be a bit of a gamble. It would
What-
be a bit of a
What
gamble.
about what? Did you just DM me something?
No. Power MT.
No,
No.
no, absolutely
Because
not.
East is like 1,400. It's probably like better
Yeah.
than
Yeah, but then it's divided by the...
No.
No, that's not how that works.
No.
No, Power MT is the one I immediately ruled out because it's very good on the C62. I know it's very good. I've seen this locomotive enough, Tyler. You're not bamboozling me.
I do find it funny that the
Yes,
other
yes,
engine
throw
on
out
this
the
stat
window
page.
today.
Again, we're playing in the realm of Japan here. That is what I will say.
Are you saying that
But-
these other
no,
locomotives
MTs
also have absurdly good power MTs?
I don't.
Well, I
these
will say
other
the
engines have
other.
lighter axle loadings, which is what you divide by.
Right, but
So you divide by a smaller number
No,
for...
you divide by a smaller number, but the Power L1 for the C62 blew everything else out of the water. By a lot.
Kaiser, and I'm saying this right now, though I could definitely, I definitely have some things to say about that.
Builder
I
would be
don't
like a
think they
10-minute
would
long
beat out
argument.
Hitachi.
It would be.
I don't.
Yeah,
I-
I don't think...
Well, hold on, Tyler. Does your builder list include all of these?
It should include, I think, everything except for maybe the O10O.
Okay,
Actually-
it actually should include the O10O because we've seen an engine in Royales that was built by the builder of this.
Let me
It's a rather,
check this.
it's a
No,
rather
I'm
well-known
not.
one.
I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. I know
If
which
you go
one it
onto
is,
the
and I'm
Wikipedia
not
for
seeing
this
it in the
builder-
list.
You will notice something.
Uh,
Also, if you look at the Loco base and look and look up at the description, you will see a name that's familiar.
No, but I'm definitely erring on the side of wheelbase ratio. I think that's probably.
No, it is in the list of the builder hierarchy.
Oh, is it?
Oh
Is
my
it
God,
not
Is it
under?
lower than Hitachi?
Is it not under what I thought it was?
It's under a 4-letter acronym.
Oh!
I mean, if you just-
Oh.
I mean, do you wanna do builder?
No.
Okay.
No, I do
We'll
not.
talk about that later then.
I think in this case, we have the opportunity to do something as a net positive for the game. And it's a very controlled environment because I think we have all of our answers like pretty clearly in front of us. So I'm saying we should do wheelbase ratio. I think it would help the most, so we'd get everybody into style points. I think we'd get everybody into style points.
Let's see here. That one would be.
I don't know if that would
How
get
much
better
room do we
in
have
the
to play
style
with
points.
over
I
there?
am
We just find out
very
the
confident
results.
I would not get in the style points.
Yeah, because I think Bender would get it too.
That's what
Yeah,
that would be
that does this.
but that would
No,
be
but if
enough.
I get a 1, would it?
Yes.
Yeah, because he's only 1 point out.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
yeah,
he only
'cause-
needs
okay.
1 point
Yeah.
over you.
So we're doing it. We're doing
All right, we'll see.
we're doing wheelbase ratio. Let's see it from everybody. Brian's a
See you
1,
in Baja.
obviously. Marine.
Bruno.
0.54.
0.54, it's a 10 wheel. It's the only other thing without a trailing truck here. East,
Okay.
0.36.
0.36. It's a Hudson. It's bad. Bender,
0.38.
0.38. It was a Mikado, and now it's a Burke. And Mew,
0.49.
0.49. That's about how I expected.
That one better.
And let's look at the results here. Everybody's in.
Yippee!
So everyone's in. Everyone's within the 10-point cutoff. East has 70 points, and the spread goes all the way down to 60 points for Bender. 65 points is Mew, and then 63 points is to both of the antiquities. So that's really interesting. I'm going to set everyone up here. I'm going to set everybody to ready in the style points section. And it will determine who goes first.
Should be Bender, I think.
Yes.
It is Bender, because Bender is worse. So that's all the stats out of the way. Obviously, we don't do all of the stats for anyone this is their first episode. This has been a pretty good episode so far. If you want to introduce your former friends to this show, maybe show them this episode, even if they don't really like Japan. You'll notice some of these are missing, but we've done most of the stats, or at least half of the. Yeah, what is this? This is 20, and we have a total of 40. It looks like more, but that's because of the vetoes. So now we do style points, which is a little bit more amorphous. And Bender, what is something that you've got that the other locomotives don't, or maybe even something that the other locomotives do have? You just want to claim.
One of the most important things on this locomotive I can think of is the self-aligning knuckle on the rear tender.
Self-aligning knuckle. That's a pretty cool
There
one.
are springs.
Okay.
Wouldn't be surprised if he said that either.
Well, it's like a model train.
Ooh.
Yeah, like a model. That's what I thought.
It's like a KD coupler. It's got springs that make it straight. When
It aligns.
Okay, so you can take that point for the self-aligning knuckle. If anybody else has got a self-aligning knuckle,
That would
I mean-
be the E10 and the C62.
That's
okay,
what I thought.
you take that point. Bender,
It's
what
not
is your
knuckle.
second? You get to call 5 in a row at most.
Ghetto bars.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
What?
What?
Oh, some
think
of
that,
you
like-
people have never lived in the hood, and it shows.
It
No,
really
because-
does.
NVTA moment.
There are no photos online of the other side of the preserved version of the D613, so I found a video of it on the other side, and you can't really see it in this photo, but the other side is entirely ghetto boy. It is so funny when I found it.
That's
This one, yeah, just straight up as a
that's
ghetto bars.
amazing.
Oh,
That's amazing.
Ghetto bars? I thought they were called something else.
I mean, I've heard them called
MBTA
I've heard them
moment.
called break-in bars, as in anti-break-in bars, but ghetto bars
Yeah.
rolls off the tongue a lot better.
It does.
So yeah, MBTA moment. If anybody else here has those, you can feel free to give yourself.
Ghetto grills.
Hell, I do.
Yeah, so I mean, some locomotives here don't even have glass in their windows, so there's nothing to break anyway. Ghetto grills is a good one. All right, Bender, what's your third?
Ooh, okay.
You can tell the thought went into
All-weather
this
cab.
with the ghetto bars. What'd you say?
All-weather cab.
All-weather
Fuck
cab.
you.
You got the all-weather cab? Okay.
It's a Hokkaido spec.
These were-
You know,
Yeah.
Hokkaido spec.
all the D61s, which remember were only 6 of them, all went up to work in Hokkaido with the
Okay.
C62s.
Isn't the connection to Hokkaido was like a dual gauge tunnel or something like that?
It is.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
it's
so
now a dual
Um,
gauge.
Anyway, all right, that's
Back
number.
then, it was a ferry.
Yeah, well, it should have been. I would like to propose an alternative solution for sending things across the Strait of Hokkaido.
Train cannon.
Yes. Anyway, Bender.
Gun.
Second headlight.
Okay, bonus headlight. Yeah.
I gotta find a picture of the backside of my engine.
Damn it,
I
Bender, you're not supposed
don't-
to help East.
Now, in this case, we're just talking about forward-mounted second headlights. So if
Okay.
you've got a reverse headlight, that's a different style point.
Oh,
No, yeah, you're helping
Uh,
East.
Yeah. So yeah, give yourself the
I mean-
point for the bonus headlight. There you go.
The,
And
the thing is Bender and I are just
Okay.
identical on style points, pretty much.
yeah, well, that's
And-
why
right.
the ghetto bars point is so good.
Kaiserin, but does this thing have a all-weather cab? It doesn't. That side
No,
is open.
no, it does not. No, this does not count as an all.
Yeah.
Just because you have
Yeah.
you have a Dutch door is what you have.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just because Kaiserin said that this worked in Hokkaido as well. which
Oh,
it did.
I understand. Yeah. Well, no. The thing is that these people got to suffer. Anyway.
You're in the army now.
Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Just like the C2s, where this was actually just used on a railway that used prison labor.
We can
I
neither
have no
confirm nor
idea.
deny. All right, Bender. What's your fifth and for the moment final?
Red number plates.
Oh, you've got your red number plates. That's true. You know what? Yeah, I'll give you that.
God damn it!
Does anybody else here? I know two of the photos are in black and white.
So, do you want like the backstory on why the red number plates exist and why I should technically also get that style point?
It's pretty big.
No, you don't, because your picture doesn't.
Okay, but you can literally unscrew the plates and rescrew the red ones on.
But that's not
Yeah,
how that
skill
works. It
issue.
doesn't
Yeah.
have the red plate on it.
You're not using the right
But
image.
you've given
Fuck you.
points for that in the past.
No,
for
in the past when we had different style point rules.
There's
Okay.
new style point rules for this thing? Because I didn't know what it was. For like this specific Royale and onward, there's new style point rules.
No.
East,
Like-
east,
Exactly,
east,
then-
east, east. I don't give points when the thing on the locomotive precludes the use of the other thing. As in, I don't give a cast pilot point and a mountable plow point. You get one or the other. I wouldn't give you
Okay.
points for this plate and also that other plate. You'd have to take something off in order to put that on.
Got it.
Point of order. The picture I provided is a black and white, but I can easily provide one with the red number
I
plate.
believe it has.
Does that
the number
count or
plates,
no?
that's-
Well, the thing I was going to ask for East is that does your explanation help figure out whether these other two locomotives would have it?
Well, yes, it does, because the JNR identified maintenance of a locomotive by the number plate, pretty much. So the
Okay.
color of the number plate,
colorations.
yeah, would like tell other crews like the condition that the locomotive is in, like if it needs maintenance, or if it is in perfectly good working order, or stuff like that.
Okay.
So, but yes, Mew does in fact have red number plates because Mew sent a photo.
The color?
Yes, I mean, I know which photo you're gonna send, so just send it.
The Wikipedia photo.
But yeah, I mean the thing exists.
He says a C62. That's kind of.
Lol, lol, lol,
Oh,
lol,
that's
lol.
not. Oh, okay.
Okay. So what does the red number board specifically represent?
Let me pull up.
It
My
probably
There was
means
that.
black, red, green, and maybe blue.
There was blue.
Yeah.
I know that
There
because the
is-
air-operated D51 has blue plates. Because they run one of them off compressed air because
That
it's
must
just
mean
weird.
Yeah.
it's like in terrible condition because they run it off compressed air.
It also
the-
has one of those
Here's
big
Miyahara's
smoke
engine work
things.
data. Do-do-do. Black plate is a malfunctioning machine, or bad maintenance. Let's see here. Locomotives in good condition had red numbers. Average ones had green numbers, and poorly functioning are black numbers.
Damn.
So you're telling me-
C62
Yeah.
got
But also,
poorly functioning.
no, but also in JNR they switched over to just all black once they invented other ways to communicate that an engine's has issues.
Okay,
Like the phone.
so that's saying to me even more that the C62-2 would not be deserving of the red number board style point.
Well,
Because
As-
it's not using a color coded number board, it's using just a black one.
Also, I'm pretty sure it was built right at the end of when they were using that, so it didn't really have it for long.
no,
in
they
service.
used it until at least 1955.
Yeah.
Which makes it strange.
It's recorded as having a originally red, then green very quickly, then black, and then it left Miyahara Ward with black.
I wonder what the
Yeah.
D62s had.
So
It left the shop in terrible condition.
anyway, Mew,
Here's a photo of it with the red plates, at Kyoto.
you're up for style points.
Oh, I thought it's Brian was calling
Oh,
number
sorry,
2.
I'm counting up. You're right, it is Brian.
So wait, did we agree that the red number plates
Yes,
count for
you would
mine?
have
Yes,
a
yeah.
red number plate.
Thank you.
You have.
Theoretically, the 8800 should as well.
I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, I
so
have
yeah,
no idea.
Marine, you should also give yourself a point for that red number plate. Brian, you're up next when it comes to style points then.
Service on multiple continents. Because this
Yeah.
engine is currently in Germany.
Oh, well then. Yeah, absolutely.
Interesting.
Hang on, let me.
We need
oh,
to sail.
thank you.
Wasn't there the whole thing about multiple continents in regular service versus preservation, though?
In
Well, none of
Much
the
as
other
I hate-
engines here worked on multiple continents in regular service, so it doesn't matter.
Ah, okay.
yeah, no, I think
And if he pulls out some bullshit about the exported engines, then I am going to fight him.
I mean, the 8800 are exports, so theoretically they did run in the host
I'm an
country to make
export
sure they
too.
didn't
I was
explode.
built in Germany. I was built actually not in Germany, in France. Well,
Wow.
Yeah, this
actually,
thing-
no, in Germany. Yes, German
Yeah, this
division
thing
of
was
France.
also I'm pretty sure built in Germany as well.
If
but
we
I
are
don't
going
think
to-
Yeah,
did
it-
service.
if we are going to draw a distinction here, the distinction should be just because you are an export locomotive and you probably ran at the plant before they sent you over, that doesn't mean you served in multiple countries. You need to be serving some kind of purpose.
Reservation does count there.
Yes.
Okay.
Brian, what is your second?
I have something in common with David. I have a hose. It's wrapped around my dome.
You do. You've got hose.
Jose.
Jose.
Hey, gringo, what are you talking about?
You said
What is
What's
your
that,
third
Rose?
then?
you said all this stuff about red number plates, but I don't see any of you with a red undercarriage.
Bender does.
He does?
Well, he has the red's $5.
I do,
He
actually.
does?
The fuck?
The
Yeah.
firebox is red for some reason. You can see it in the ghetto
That's
bar photo.
I see it. I see it in
What
the
the-
I see it in that photo. It's for whatever
That's-
reason it's just like the ash pan that's red.
don't get
Why?
I'm not I'm
Is
not
the ash pan in terrible condition? Really good condition? Sorry, I got that mixed up. It's
No,
in
I'm
really
not-
good condition.
that's
I wonder if it's a funny to make it look to the average layperson like it's in Steam cause ooh, there's a fire down there.
well, it seems like
Yeah.
they liked to paint their ash pans.
does
I'm
add a
going
nice
I'm
highlight.
going to say that's something other than the red frames and undercarriage. But noted that it exists.
Going in the
Uh,
scale point sheet.
Red painted ash pan. Okay, Brian, what's your next? Your fourth.
If you notice on the side of my tanks, I have a China Railways style embossed like label thing with the railhead and 2 axes.
Okay.
That is for the. I'm trying to remember if it's the IJA Engineering Division.
I would
I'm just
absolutely
gonna call it
say
the railhead plate.
I'm going to say that is an adornment.
It is a very nice.
It is an adornment. It is not special enough. So that means C62 gets the point for having that little swallow as well.
Based.
Damn it, Ellis.
I mean, I'm not gonna break out the different little casting things that you could stick on the side of an engine when all it's doing is looking pretty.
Could I then also get the adornment point for sharing the little steam chest wheel that the C62 also has?
No, that's part of your doodad. That's part of your
That's part of
smoke
your
box
smoke
door
box
handle.
wheel.
Yeah.
Handle.
That
It's
is
No,
the
not
dart.
not the dart, not the dart. Look at the steam chest, the piston valve.
Oh, the
Oh wait.
That's the thing on all.
Oh,
like,
that's
JNR
a
locomotives.
thingy. That's not an adornment. That's
Yeah,
what
Oh,
is that, like a
okay.
terminal check?
I have actually made a CAD model of that.
What is that exactly? That's
It is a snifter.
okay. I
Oh.
always remember the snifters and the terminal checks, but I don't remember which one is which, and I'm not used to them looking like that.
Adorned snifter?
No, it's just a different style of snifter. But
It's very close to the Penzi style, actually.
effectively every locomotive has snifters, because if you don't, you know, bad things could happen.
Kaboom.
Yes. Well, I mean good things, but bad things. Brian, what's your fifth?
My 5th is drive shafts. My
There you
lateral-
go.
My lateral motion devices. The fact that I'm an O10O and not a prairie.
Yes. So your
You have
first
years.
your first and last first and last axle are driven by gearing, which is
Not gearing, shaft drive.
okay. Well, do they not have
Direct
gears?
There is a diagram that shows that they have shaft drive. Oh,
Kaiser
Oh, it
says
is
it's
geared.
gears.
Gears,
Okay, never
yeah,
mind.
gears.
I'll change that to
It's okay. It's
Gears?
your special
Gears,
your
brother.
special articulation with some star emojis. Very special boy,
Gears.
specialist boy. Okay, so now we go to Marine, who had the third fewest points, and also the third most, incidentally. Marine, what's a style? What have you got here?
Well, I got a headlight visor.
You do have the headlight visor.
Yes.
It's come back around. You're the only person here with a headlight visor. It's the only, as far as I'm concerned, this is the only locomotive in Japan with a headlight visor. Don't prove me wrong. I don't want to be proven wrong.
I will prove you wrong
No,
later.
get out of here.
Hello.
Okay. What is your second style point?
This one I'm not exactly sure on. On the headlight, I don't know if the number up there, if it's lit or not.
It would
looks
be.
Like it
Yeah,
might.
because
it'd
this
be
is
like
like
a
an
regular-
American style headlight. So
Yeah,
we're
this is
past it.
straight
Who
up
built
American
this thing?
style.
Someone in
Duh,
Germany.
Rebecca the Deutsch?
Oh, okay.
It's like Bavaria.
It's
Yeah.
I'm gonna put the name in
Hey,
there
real
because
quick, I wanna
I'm
mention
gonna
this,
try to
'cause we're talking
pronounce
about-
it.
Oh, okay.
Berliner Maschenbach.
Berlin, like machine shop.
Berlin,
Yeah,
the
okay.
machine.
All right. Well, yeah.
valve.
So you have the lighted number boards on the headlight. That's something. That's
real
I'm-
quick.
What?
Before we proceed, I want to mention my builder, the Alsatian Corporation of Mechanical Engineering, or SACM, specifically the Grafenstaden plant, which also built MIDI 113.
okay. This is
Bruh.
confusing me because I see Orenstein and Koppel on the side of the locomotive.
Yeah,
Uh,
it does say that.
It should be Ornstein and Koppel.
Oh, well, the
I don't-
originals, I guess, were built by SACM.
They should
And-
both be built by Koppel.
And most interestingly, this company SACM also made the Declen compounds and the first atomic reactor.
Yeah, the French
So
be like that.
that's where the uranium
okay.
comes in.
Yeah.
All
Yes,
right,
it is.
Maureen, what's your third?
Um. I'm not. I'm pretty sure this one. Might be one. It was the first locomotive to haul the first special express trains for the JGR.
Yeah, I would count that.
Interesting.
Honestly, it is.
That's big.
It is.
That's why I love those things.
To give some background on the 8800s, they are the first like really true like 19 teens ish express passenger engines for Japan.
Okay.
These immediately went on to service onto the Kaido main line, and immediately the mechanical office looks at them and is just like, okay, can we make like copies of these? No. Can we make something that's basically the same thing as this? Yeah. And then they turned around and made the 8620 series moguls that were the standard for the rest of the Taisho era. That would be? Well, yeah, that would be Taisho at that point.
Yeah.
And those quickly replaced the 8800s on the expresses, but the 8800s did open that up.
Okay,
for
so we
helping
get the
cut down
first
travel time.
special express with the special also having the little star icons. Okay, I'm glad we've got all sorts of special boys here. Maureen, what is your fourth then?
This is where I get unsure about myself. It did have a recorded tops. I mean, not recorded. Well, no.
We don't do top speed
one.
unless it's the speed limits or speed record, so don't hit me with that.
Yeah, no.
I can only think of something that would give you a half a point, which doesn't help.
I'm gonna do service life, which it served from 1912 all the way up to 1950.
Okay,
I
that's
can beat you there
Oh, can you?
because while I can't give you an exact retirement date, I was built in 1925. The last year that I can confirm it worked, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it worked after this because it just says this was the last year it worked at this specific place. But it was 1925 to at least 1971.
Okay,
Huh.
well, longest service life.
I don't know when it was retired from the railway in Hokkaido, because apparently that was after 1971.
That
But it said it worked at the I don't know. It said it last worked in 1971. It's weird.
that point goes to Brian then, which then would give Maureen a half a point for being close but no cigar. Sadly, that ends Maureen's stint because you've got to score a 1 on your point to keep going, which means it comes around to Mew. Nobody's been
Alrighty.
eliminated yet.
Yeah.
Yet. Mew, what is your style point or style points? What have you got for us?
Rear-facing cab window visors.
Okay, I don't think anybody else has window visors. Oh wait, no.
I might.
Hold on,
Sort of.
no. You guys have. There are some window visors in the group here. Do you have
Forward-facing,
forward
but what
window
about rear
visors
forward?
too? So you're taking specifically rear window visors.
Correct.
Okay, sure. That's specific, but I understand why you're doing it. What else? What's your number 2?
I am also going to take... Would you call that a tender bucket? Bunker bucket, rather? Cold bucket?
That's a really good question. I haven't given tender bucket in a long time. I think that's just the shape of your tender.
It is
Yeah.
built like that.
It's not
an
like
addition.
it's not cheater boards or anything like that. It's just that's the way it's shaped.
Okay.
That's just the way it is.
Then would you take the tender bunker step ladder or just ladder on the
Tender
back?
ladder? Okay, yeah, rear ladder. Yeah, sure. You can have a rear ladder, tender ladder, whatever. If you've got a tender ladder or a way to mount up on the backside of your locomotive there, you can give yourselves a point. I know it might be tough for people to find rear ends of their locomotives, but if you know it, you know it. Um,
Don't
I-
know if I can find one.
Brian, I'm going to be honest. I don't think you have a ladder back there.
I know, but I'm like struggling to find a rear end picture of my engine in general.
I mean, considering that, see if you can get a video of it.
I mean, it is operational, so maybe.
Yeah, see if some foamer could help you out.
And it's at the Frankfurter Feldbahn Museum, which means that I actually did meet David. Wow.
All right, Mew.
So what the hell, I'll call this anyway. I got that first picture specifically for this ruling that we just discovered has been rendered moot. Marker lights. Because my picture, if you see the black and white one, it actually has them on there.
Okay. And that kicks out Bender, it would look like. Unless Bender has a way to mount marker lights.
Bender should.
I don't see... Oh, I assume that's these little brackets right here on the front.
Yeah, because it's the same thing as what the C62 and most of the other the standards, the later standards have. Because those markers are used for same thing as markers in U.S. practice,
hell is
just
that?
that they're carried in the cab and then you swap them on and off.
All right.
I'm watching a video and I saw something on the back of my cab and I'm wondering what the hell it was.
Slender Man. Do you have a fourth style?
Would you take bidirectionality? We were talking about it a bit at the beginning, but this thing, the cab was apparently designed to aid in running this thing in both directions, so much so that the driving controls are on what would regularly be considered the opposite side of the cab.
Absolutely.
It's also got a separate, it's got two fold-down seats. One for when you're running forward, one for when you're running in reverse.
And there's precedent for this. We've given, I think 475 a similar point. Because, as I understand, over the years at Strasbourg, the controls were modified to make it easier to run in reverse.
That's amazing.
So, that is something that has precedent and is very real if they've messed with the controls to do that. Because before you said controls, which was sort of the thing I was hoping to hear you say, I was going to say no. It's just a tank engine. They can all do that.
Okay.
Do you have a fifth one?
Oh. I'm wondering if I should call one that you would
hold on,
like.
before we move on, would I get the point for bidirectionality or no?
Are your controls set up so you can run easily in reverse?
Okay, fair point. No. I didn't know we were going for
I wanted to ask. And to come back to what I just said to you. In that case, no, you're just a tank engine.
Sorry, I was looking at the videos of this thing.
Uh,
It's so cute.
So
okay.
I'm gonna say, I'm at an impasse here. Do I call one that will probably get me points, is technically part of the rules, but you'll hate, or call one that you're fine with and give East points anyway?
One that I'll hate, eh?
Yeah.
That's up to you, but you're almost out of time.
Fair. In that case,
If you-
I am going to go with... Wait, does that one have it? How much time do I have left? Or are you using the...
I'm using the little timers. The answer is not a lot of sand.
Darn. Okay.
In fact, I would say just about no sand, because I forgot to turn it over.
Okay,
right
arch
away.
tubes.
Arch tubes?
Arch-
This thing
Yeah.
has arch tubes?
Yeah, most late GNR Steam does.
Okay, so does that mean Bender gets a point for that as well?
Yeah, Bender gets a point. East gets a point.
Alright, well, Bender's already knocked out, and it's just between East and Mew here. So,
Which means East already wins.
well, we'll see.
Get him, Tiger.
What could happen now? East has 5 style point calls ahead of him. He's going to pull out the most obscure ones you've ever seen.
Dual
all the
combustion.
Hokkaidos.
What was that?
Dual combustion.
What is
Oh, the
that?
Heavy
multi-fuels.
oil co-combustion.
Oh, the co-combustion.
The flamethrower and the
Yeah.
Oh,
Not
that's
not
right.
co-combustion. Co-combustion. Okay.
Coca-Cola.
We'll see.
Don't
We'll
the
see how
other
far we
ones
get before
have
it
it?
We
before
are
it kicks
burning
you out.
chocolate in this engine.
Cuckoo for
Delicious.
co-combustion.
Smoke
Don't the other late
reflectors.
JNRs have that too?
Oh, you're not the only one with smoke deflectors. And the other person is Bender, which doesn't really help him, but still, it's interesting because I thought you were going to pick the things that were supremely unique for the C62.
Live steam model.
Oh shoot, live steam model. Anybody else got a live steam model? Brian, your actual locomotive
no.
doesn't count.
No, the thing, I'm trying. I literally. It's so hard to like look these things up that I don't know if I could even even if there was one, I don't know if I could find it.
No, you just need to troll Discover Live Steam every day from now until the end of time.
Oh, God.
All right.
Damn.
No.
Well,
Get tempted.
that's it. That actually kicks out Mew. Mew's automatically folded, so instead of letting the score run up, I'm just going to show this now. There it is. Which, the score, effectively speaking, has been run up. I don't know how the math on the sheet decided that this was the right time to end it. I guess it figured that if things had gone... Oh, yeah, no, if things had gone exactly the other way, it could have made a difference. But, East, congratulations. You've made it out of the Japan Royale, something that I'm sure nobody expected to happen. You've earned your spot in the finale. But
Thank you.
80 points for the C62, a normal showing, an average day. 73 points for the E10 in second place. That's something that I didn't expect. I kind of was thinking about the E10 as a joke pick, like for my own purposes, but it's a decent locomotive, and I'm honestly a little surprised we didn't get more in the way of things like power comps with this. I would have loved to see it, truly stand up to the C62 in terms of power and things, because it has...
Spoiler alert, it can't.
It can't.
It can't.
Well, alas. I feel like it might have been close. Don't prove me wrong. 69 points is third place. It actually goes straight between Bender and Brian. You guys both have 69 points. You guys both got third place. I'm surprised that Bender faltered as much as he did, but I guess the D61 was just in a really awkward place in terms of size. Size and capabilities. Especially, if I remember right, it had the lower boiler pressure, right? Yeah, it had the 213, 35 boiler pressure. That probably hampered it. It's the fact that it's a rebuild shows.
I'll also say I made one or two calls that I made sure wouldn't benefit it. Like my last stack call was flues, right? I could have called superheating surface, and Bender probably would have won that because longer boiler, no? Longer flue tube length?
Did Bender have the longer flue tube length?
Longer than me and East.
Yeah, that's true. That would have been an interesting one. See, and you didn't know that it needed your help. If they're cold, you're cold. Or other way around. Whatever. And Marine, you fought hard with a locomotive that maybe should have been in the following Royale instead of this one. But you are granted 5th place with 67.5 points. Not altogether that far behind, especially not far behind your contemporaries. But I appreciate the fight you put up. This grainy photo, it really fits the vibes. But anyway, thank you all for playing. I did make mention of next time. Next time is something I've taken to calling D&D on the Titanic, if I remember right. Next week is the Royale between locomotives built between, 1850 and 1912?
That is correct.
From Japan, west of the Mississippi in the U.S., England. What were the other places? England
and France.
And France. Okay, I was going to say England and France. It felt too generic. This is
the Victorian gentleman, the Wild West cowboy, the
French privateer,
and
the disgraced samurai.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So it's based on that joke, and I just twisted it a little bit further, thinking, yes, this is clearly a bunch of people playing Dungeons and Dragons on the Titanic, and this is what they've chosen as their characters. It reminded me of the old Avengers joke, where Guardians of the Galaxy is just the Avengers playing D&D. So I hope to see you all next week. East, of course, you don't have to, but knowing East, he's going to show up with the most ridiculous locomotive you've ever seen. And
that also no one's heard of.
Yeah, exactly. And then win with it, of course. The final Royale is going to be East, 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 and East.
Not if I have anything to say about it.
East cubed.
Yeah, it's going to be East, West, North, South. Anyway,
I am North.
and Brian, apparently. All right. Thank you all for coming. I'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Buy trading cards.
This means
Buy trading
war.
cards.